Hello, guys. Welcome. Osifo here again. This is another episode of our video course. Okay, in today's video, we're going to be talking about a tool called Trendline. We're going to be talking about how to use the trend line, how to draw the trend line, and also how to probably trade the trend line. So, the trend line is a tool anyway to aid you in trading. How do you get the tool? So this is our trading view platform. This is our trading view platform, www.tradingview.com. This is the view here. So to get your trend line tool, you come to this your toolbar here at the left hand side. You can see my cursor, right? So the first one is the crosshair. The second one, if your trend line is not there, there's a little arrow by the side of it here. You can see me just click on it and it will bring out different options here for you. So today we're talking about the first one, which is the trend line. So just click on it. This is how you draw it. You can place it anywhere on your chart and then move your mouse and then left click again, and that is it. This is how you draw it. That's where you get it from, and this is how you draw it. So in our last class, we were able to establish the three types of trend we have, which is the uptrend, downtrend, and sideways movement. So now we also established that we could draw our swing high and swing low using our path tool, and then with an input of moving average 50 to be able to understand the current trend, right? Now what do you use trend line for? Trend line is also for identifying the trend of a market. You can also trade off a trend line, okay? So these are our trend lines. So let's see something now. Looking at this chart, where's our path to? Let me get it out. So looking at this, we can clearly see that this guy from here, from this point, is clearly looking like an uptrend, right? It's looking like an uptrend, right? Right. So it's looking like an uptrend. Now, how do you use your trend line? So trend line is used for also identifying the trend, knowing the points that the market is going to reverse to, and then continue moving up. Okay, so you can draw your trend line like this, right? Plotting it out to align with all of these lows here, right? So let me let me give a drawing. Let me give a drawing so that we understand this. So for instance, you want to see that the market is going up like this, like so, like this, like this, like this, right? Like this. So the trend line, you use it to connect all of these points here in the chart. You use to collect all of these points to say, okay, this is where these are the areas that the market is responding to, like first point, second point. This guy did not get to here, but let's make it get to here. So it may not always align as smooth as this. It can come like this, come below it, and it can come at this point and not get to it. And then the next one that follows can come and get to it. Okay. So this is how you draw your trend line. So for uptrend, for uptrend, I'm going to write this for you. So for uptrend, you draw your trend line below. Just write it down and I will explain. Uptrend, you draw your trend line below. While for downtrend, you draw your trend line above. Make this guy big. I make it big a bit so we can see. Make this one black. Okay. So uptrend, you draw your trend line below, and then downtrend, you draw your trend line above it. Okay. So this is an uptrend chart here. So that's why my trend line is drawn from below, right? From below. So what you want to do, you want to put your trend line at the point where the movement started. This is where this uptrend started, right? And then you connect it to the next level here, which is this guy. After connecting to this one, and then you draw it to extend it to the end. Okay. Now, what are the rules of drawing trend line? What are the rules of drawing trend line? Now, Your trend line should always be at the wick, not on the body of the candle. And let me explain that. We'll explain that for you. Okay. Now, if you look at this guy here, remember we talked about candlesticks, right? Talking about candles. So this movement, this guy here is a candle. Let me zoom in so you can see. So this whole guy here is a candlestick. Now, if you are drawing your trend line, what you want to focus on is the lowest part of the candle, which is the wick. This small line that came out of the candle, this is the wick. So you want to focus on this shadow of the candle, which is the wick of the candle. So whenever you are drawing your trend line, ensure that you place it at the tip, at the tip. You understand? Ensure you place it at the tip of the candle, right? Very important, right? So connecting it to the next candle, you want to connect it also to the tip of it. So you want to be sure that it's connected to the tip, just like this, okay? So this one here, so the second tip here, and then you can extend it. After connecting the second, you can extend it to the future. Remember, I told you your trend line will not always align, but this is how you draw it. Okay, we'll look for an example where the trend line aligns properly. Okay, where it aligns properly. Okay, now is our swing. First swing, we traced back. Swing, we traced back. Swing. Okay, so this is how you plot your trend line. So let's look for a better example. If we can get a cleaner example. Let's see daily. Let's see daily chart. We can get cleaner price action. All right. Let's go to JP USD. Okay, so looking at this, drawing my trend line from where it all started from. Where it all started? It started from here. This is the best part I'm seeing here. Connect the second guy. Boom. So this is where it started from here. This is the first touch here. And mark it out with something. Sorry, I'm looking for my drawing tool. Um, looking for my drawing tool. This is our first line here, and these are our second touch. These both guys are our second touch here. Okay, so what you want to be looking at for when drawing your trend line? Remember, so our first rule is that it should be at the week. It should be at the week. So what you want? So our second rule is that we want to get our first touch and our second touch, and then you extend to the future. Okay, now looking at this, our trend line, we got this first touch here. These are our second touch, and then extend to the future. Extending to the future means that you are anticipating the third touch to happen. Now, this is how they trade the trend line. Now, I'm talking about how you trade the trend line. So, the trend line, you want to see first touch, second touch, and then the third touch is now where you enter the market for a continuation if it's a buy. Okay, so you're always waiting for the third touch. If you see the first touch of a trend line, you don't enter the trade. Eventually, you came to the market, and then let me see if I can rewind this. Okay, let's see if I can rewind this. So, eventually, you came to the market, and then you saw this touch here, right? You don't have a trade yet. You don't have a trade. You want to wait for it to come, give you a second touch. Right? Let's see. Let me make it faster a bit. Let me make it faster. Okay. So you want to see that it's giving you second touch. Now when you see your second touch, now what are you waiting for? You wait for the third time it's going to touch the trend line. Listen to me, guys. You're going to wait for the third time it's going to touch your trend line. So now coming to the market, you've seen one touch, two touch, right? You have already extended to the future. Let me move this guy. You've already extended to the future using your first week, the second week, and then extend to the future. waiting for the third time it's going to touch. So the third time it's going to touch the trend line. That is where you're going to be entering your trade from. So this is how they trade the trend line. But we don't trade the trend line alone. We don't trade it alone. We trade it with other confluences. So this video is meant for you to understand what we mean by trend line, how to locate it on your chart, how to draw it, how to use it, all of it. Right? So that is it. So you can see this guy did not touch. He came close but he did not touch. You still don't have an entry here. You still don't have an entry. You want to have an entry where it touches. But remember, like I said, we don't trade only the trend line. We don't trade only the trend line. So we're gonna wait for the third touch. So as soon as it touches the third trend line, the third touch, we're gonna be going in for a buy because this is an uptrend. Actually, is an uptrend, and our trend line is below, which makes it an uptrend, a bullish trend line because it's below. It's a bullish trend line. So as soon as it comes down and touch it, you get an entry with other confirmation. You don't just jump into the trade, you look for confirmation. You can see that's our third touch there. These are our third touches. If you're going to be entering this trade, you would have entered it from here because there's a confirmation there. We'll get to that part where we'll learn all of those confirmation and how to use them to enter a trade. So for now, guys, this is how to draw your trend line. So let's look for a bearish example. Let's look for a bearish example. Let me scroll, let me scroll, let me scroll, let me scroll. If we can get a bearish example, I believe we know what is bearish, right? Bearish is downtrend, downtrend. So all of this price action here is not aligning properly to our trend line. Remember, I told you we don't use only trend line. So your trend line does not work, other things will align. So you can see that we got our first touch here, second touch here, but then our third touch pushed inside of it, but there are other complexes we will still use to enter such kind of trades. Such kind of trade, okay. But looking at this, our first touch, second touch, the third touch broke above it. I told you that the price will not always align with the trend line. It will not always be, smooth or what have you. But then again, this is what happened. It happened. First touch, second touch, and then the third touch. It still happened, right? Yeah, and then got the sell. Let me label it out for you to see it. It's our second touch here. With practice, you get to understand and know how to plot all of this trend line. So you can see that it touched it and then it sold all the way down. If you sell from here, you would have made profit. Okay. So here's how to draw your trend line, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Next video, we're going to be talking about support and resistance. I'll see you guys. Bye bye.